Plum trees were cultivated about thousands of years ago in China. These trees traveled along the Silk Road and eventually reached the Mediterranean region. Over time, people experimented with these plums and discovered a snack which is loved by almost everyone today. Most people don't realize that plum trees have what farmers call their teenage years. For the first 4 to 6 years of life, these trees focus solely on growing, stretching their branches toward the sky without producing a single piece of fruit. When temperatures drop, these trees enter a period of dormancy, and the harsh winter triggers the production of natural compounds that will later influence the sweetness of the fruit. Every winter, those hard workers climb through the branches, making precise cuts that actually remove up to 20% of the tree's branches. By opening up the tree's canopy, sunlight can reach deeper into the branches that ultimately results in larger and sweeter plums. Through years of strategic pruning and care, farmers can finally see their efforts becoming fruitful. Throughout the year, farmers wage a careful battle against nature's challenges. In winter, when fog blankets the valley, they need to monitor soil moisture, while spring brings the threat of late frosts, requiring sophisticated temperature monitoring systems that can trigger warming fans at a moment's notice. By summer, their focus shifts to precisely controlling irrigation, ensuring each tree gets exactly what it needs to produce the sweetest fruit possible. In August, farmers face a critical decision that can make or break their entire year's work. Along with the modern testing equipment, and based on their ancient knowledge, they monitor if it bears the age-old signs, the deepening purple of the skin, and their natural fall from trees. They know it's time. When harvest day arrives, the orchard comes alive before dawn. Gone are the days of monkey harvesting, and modern harvesting machines approach each tree with surprising grace. These machines grip the trunk and deliver a precise shake that causes ripe plums to rain down onto catching frames below. It's a far cry from the hand-picking methods of the past, but this efficiency is crucial. The entire harvest must be completed within just 2 to 3 weeks while the fruit is at its peak. But the journey is far from over. These freshly harvested plums make their first stop at cleaning stations right in the orchard, where advanced sorting systems use jets of air to separate leaves, twigs, and damaged fruit. The good plums continue their march to the storage bins while the harvesters look for the rest of the harvested batch. What makes this moment so crucial is that these fresh plums have spent months developing the perfect balance of sugars, acids, and other compounds. As one veteran farmer puts it, we're not just harvesting fruit, we're harvesting concentrated sunshine. This natural sweetness is about to become even more intense through the drying process. But in order to see that, you need to stay with us for a little more, and you will witness the best transformation under process. Plums have been around for thousands of years, growing in different parts of the world, but fresh plums don't last long. They spoil quickly, and that's a problem if you're a farmer or trader trying to sell them across long distances. Before refrigeration, people had to get creative. Drying fruits was the best way to keep them from rotting. Yes, these fresh plums are cleaned and sorted out first to be packed right away in the jars, so anyone who craves fresh fruit consumption can grab those bottles. Hey, we would really appreciate it if you click on the like button and share this video with your friends. It's just some little gestures, you know. Traditional sun drying, still practiced in some regions, spreads millions of plums across vast drying grounds where they bask in natural sunlight for up to 2 weeks. These sun-dried prunes develop a slightly different flavor profile than their tunnel-dried counterparts, carrying subtle notes of caramel. As moisture leaves the fruit, each plum shrinks to about 1/3 of its original size. But not all prunes shrink equally. The largest ones, known as extra large or jumbo, command premium prices in the market. If you wonder why they need to do this trivial step again and again, trust me, it's for our own good. Otherwise, we might be the first one to question their ways. Also, the sun-dried plums have more chances to get the dirt from open areas than the mechanical dried ones. So washing them thoroughly makes sure of the removal of those contaminants. This is exactly how they're going to put those thousands of tons of dried plums back in the game. Once the drying process is complete, they're carefully rehydrated in steam chambers, bringing their moisture content back up to 30%. This step transforms them to the final stage, the chewy prunes we know. What many don't realize is that this transformation is more than just drying. It's a carefully managed metamorphosis that concentrates not just flavors, but also nutrients. The drying process actually increases the concentration of antioxidants and other beneficial compounds, making prunes more nutritionally dense than their fresh counterparts. This delicate balance between traditional methods and modern innovation has been refined over generations. Quality control in such facilities combines high-tech precision with age-old wisdom. Lasers scan each prune for imperfections, while seasoned inspectors rely on their trained eyes to catch what machines might miss. Any prunes showing signs of fermentation, known as end rot, are immediately removed. Today, these prunes travel to more than 70 different countries worldwide. From Japanese convenience stores to European breakfast tables, these transformed plums have become a global success story. Modern consumers now recognize prunes for what they've always been: a naturally sweet treat. You might have seen bodybuilders and other gym freaks relying on huge black containers of protein powders. Yes, I know what you would say, that it's dangerous, dude. But have you ever wondered how exactly? Like, what goes into it? Or what are they gulping? So this video might not feel like our regular videos, as we also want to uncover all the dark secrets behind making the protein powders. Come with us to see what unnatural stuff they're adding that doctors don't like about it. Let's get straight to the farms where they keep their cattle. These cows live a lifestyle that's as natural as possible. They're raised in open pastures with plenty of room to graze, roam, and soak up the sunshine, and spend most of their day munching on fresh grass and plants. This is their natural diet, and it's a big reason why their milk has higher nutritional value. While grass is their primary food source, it's supplemented with hay and silage, usually fermented grass or corn during winter when pastures aren't as lush. Another interesting aspect is how farmers manage milking routines. Milking usually happens twice a day, at the same times each morning and evening. It's done using gentle suction machines, so the cows are comfortable. Yes, they are washing the entire area of processing, and no, they aren't doing this just for the video. It's their one of the usual chores that you do without any specific reason. Once the milk passes the checks, it's ready for unloading. Those pipes make the milk flow directly into large refrigerated storage silos without coming into contact with air or external contaminants. And the silos are really big, like they can hold thousands of gallons of milk, keeping it fresh until it's ready for processing. When it's time to heat it again, this time the focus is on activating the cheese-making process. As the milk warms up, it's gently stirred to keep the heat evenly distributed. An enzyme, either animal-based or plant-based, is added to coagulate the milk, turning it into curds and whey. When the rennet does its job, the milk thickens into a jelly-like mass within 30 to 60 minutes. Experienced cheesemakers often rely on instinct and touch to make sure if it's ready. The first step in separating curd from whey is cutting the curd. After most of the whey is drained, the curds are collected from the draining vat. At this point, they're soft, moist, and still a bit crumbly. The first thing they do after getting the whey is filtering it. Even though most of the curds have been removed, tiny milk solids and impurities can still be present. Once filtered, the whey undergoes pasteurization because raw whey can spoil quickly, and pasteurization ensures it's safe and stable for further processing. Next comes the concentration process, where the whey's water content is reduced. That spray drying is a marvel of efficiency, you know. In just seconds, it transforms gallons of liquid whey into a fine powder. This powder is cooled quickly to prevent clumping and preserve its nutritional quality. That fine texture of whey powder is what makes it dissolve so easily in water or smoothies. That's why it's a favorite ingredient in protein shakes, meal replacements, and even baked goods. Before packaging, the whey powder goes through quality checks. Samples are tested for protein content, moisture levels, and microbial safety. Once it passes all tests, the whey powder is packaged into airtight containers to maintain its freshness. In large-scale factories, this is done using automated filling machines that seal the packages in seconds, minimizing exposure to air and moisture. As far as the containers are concerned, they use high-quality containers or bags that are specifically designed to protect whey protein powder from moisture, air, and light, three major enemies of powdered products. The expiration date and batch number are also printed onto the packaging, so the consumers know exactly when the powder is best consumed and provides traceability for safety and quality control purposes. The remaining curds, which have been stored earlier, are now typically pressed into molds. It's important to shape the cheese and ensure the curds compact into a uniform texture. The pressing process also helps remove any remaining whey and gives the cheese its final shape. For cheeses like mozzarella, the process ends here and it's ready for packaging. Whether it's a childhood snack tucked into lunchboxes, a companion to your evening coffee, or a midnight craving, this dessert holds a special place in our hearts. Light and fluffy sponge serves as the foundation. Its airy texture is achieved through precise baking techniques, often relying on whipped eggs to create that irresistible softness. Add to that the layer of chocolate, and you've got a dessert that's as luxurious as it is comforting. From kids to grandparents, chocolate-coated sponge cakes surpass age and geography. So, the next time you unwrap one, take a moment to remember this video, how you've seen its delightful layers being created with so much precision and total automation. Few desserts can compete with the absolute delight of an Oreo ice cream. It's the perfect combination of velvety, creamy ice cream and the iconic crunch of Oreo cookies. The moment you scoop it up, you're greeted by swirls of cookie crumbles, rich, chocolatey chunks, and that unmistakable flavor of Oreo that's been winning hearts for generations. No, I clearly didn't exaggerate just because I loved it. Sorry, dude, that was a bit personal. There's something undeniably charming about a fish-shaped sponge cake. Maybe it's the charming design, reminiscent of playful childhood snacks, or perhaps it's the surprise waiting inside each one. Either way, they're loved by all the generations for their special tea times. Whether it's custard, red bean paste, or chocolate, these little cakes have captured hearts around the globe. Don't judge. Yes, kinds of fish-shaped cakes with those fillings do exist. Originating in countries like Japan and Korea, the fish-shaped sponge cake is much loved. That super soft sponge itself is a masterpiece, light, airy, and subtly sweet. And why on earth everything that appears so cute is always from these two countries? My goodness! It was so hard to find the resources and get inside the factory of dairy milk, but today I'm so happy that I finally did it. Yeah, I'm gonna share it all with you. You excited? Why wouldn't you? It's your favorite chocolate bar after all. From biting directly into the chocolate bar to pouring it in several desserts, it's been the topmost choice of sweet freaks and expert chefs. Inside these pods are the beans, but at this point, they don't taste or smell anything like the chocolate you know. Did you know Cadbury Dairy Milk's cocoa mainly comes from West Africa, especially Ivory Coast and Ghana? Why these regions? It's all about the perfect climate, warm, humid, and with just the right amount of rain to grow best quality cocoa. And these countries have these conditions that make it ideal for growing high-quality cocoa beans. Whoa! Look at that beauty, though. When it's time for automated milking, they trick these cows with their daily dose of entertainment, like roaming and feeding right from the heart of lush green pastures. Now the machines work in a smooth, gentle way that keeps the cows comfortable while collecting the milk. The collected milk is then pumped into storage tanks, where it stays fresh and untouched until it reaches the dedicated factories. Cadbury Dairy Milk uses both sugarcane and sugar beet as sources of sugar in its products. So, the choice between these two sources is often influenced by regional availability, environmental factors, and cost considerations. Around 80% of sugar production comes from sugarcane, which thrives in tropical climates, while the remaining 20% comes from sugar beets, cultivated in cooler regions. While sugarcane tends to caramelize better and offers a slightly fruity aroma, sugar beet can have an earthy note. And the blend of both the sugar forms gives that ultimate sweetness and aroma we all experience in dairy milk chocolate. It's amazing to see how raw ingredients turn into creamy, rich chocolate when the chocolate mass is placed in a special machine that gently heats and stirs it for hours. Why so long? Because this heating melts leftover cocoa solids and sugar crystals, while the constant stirring makes the mixture smoother and finer. When these experts will give a heads up, the chocolate would be loaded into the hoppers to get into shape. The liquid chocolate is poured into molds shaped like bars here. But how do they get it right every time? It's because these machines fill each mold precisely and controls every movements from tapping to cooling down to make sure you get the perfect bar every time. It's amazing how much care goes into every bite. The moment these chocolate bars got cooled down, they're bit rubbed to get the perfectly aligned bars. Dairy milk is not just a normal chocolate bar, It's a shared experience that has traveled across continents. You know, in Australia, most people crave the locally inspired twists that enhance the classic taste. From birthday parties to quiet evenings, Cadbury always finds its way into small and big moments alike. What's that fragrance? It seems like something huge is being baked. Just like you guessed, it's the batch of millions of crepes being made in factories. I am one of those freaks who is completely mad about fancy breakfast, and for that reason, I love having crepes loaded with lots of berries and cream in the morning. Undoubtedly, flour is the backbone of any crepe, so this is our first stop. The harvested wheat is transported to storage silos. Now the process is typical. The grains will be cleaned, tempered, and milled into superfine flour. Oh, absolutely. Crepes almost always include eggs. They're one of those amazing ingredients that holds everything together and gives crepes their soft, flexible texture. With the simple science, the proteins in eggs help the batter bind, while the yolks add richness. It ends up being the most delicious breakfast ever. Those industries also have amazing machines that can crack, separate, and measure the eggs at lightning speed. If you only use yolks, your crepes would be richer but a bit heavy. And if you used just whites, they'd be lighter but lack that signature creamy texture. So when in doubt, crack the whole egg. Once the carefully sourced ingredients arrive at the factory, it's time for them to meet and mingle in the batter preparation stage. There are two typical methods to make crepes in any factory, one of which is a cylindrical stove to pick the right amount of batter. Spread it in perfectly round shape and pass it along to the massive, flat griddle plates heated to the perfect temperature. For larger scale operations, conveyor belts carry the partially cooked crepe to a second griddle where it cooks on the other side for around 15 to 20 seconds. The other method looks like this, the typical batter dispenser. Crêpe day, or la chandeleur as they call it in France, is such a charming tradition, only if I said it right. It's celebrated every February 2nd and has roots that go way back. While it has religious origins tied to the presentation of Jesus at the temple, it's become more widely known and loved as Crêpe Day in modern times. If you wondered, the type of wheat you use for crepes makes a huge difference. Let's start with regular wheat. This is the most common choice for sweet crepes, as it has a mild flavor, letting the sweetness of your toppings shine. Now comes buckwheat, which is a whole different vibe. It's gluten-free and darker and has a nuttier, earthier flavor. It's more commonly used in savory crepes, like galettes from Brittany, France. With the crepes perfectly cooked and cooled, it's time for filling and stacking. With the crepes folded, filled, or stacked, it's time for the big finish, packaging and freezing. Hey, you smart people! Enjoying the video? Show us some love by hitting the like button and saving this video so it stays right there in your list to watch again later. Check out those big buddies conveniently handling the most back-breaking task. The workers who belong there must be grateful for sure. Waffles are one of those snacks that have a simple yet magical appeal. Now, think about enjoying a crispy waffle from a factory line, the kind that's perfectly crisped, golden brown, and ready to be devoured in just a few minutes. It seems tempting, isn't it? Waffles are made with a process called flash baking. This involves a quick heat blast, which crisps up the outside of the waffles in seconds, ensuring they stay crunchy longer and have a crispier texture when you bite into them. After baking, the waffles are carefully cooled to maintain their crispy texture. It's important to prevent moisture from making the waffles soggy. When you see those perfectly cut cubes coated in glossy chocolate and wrapped up neatly, have you ever wondered how they're made in factories? The chocolate dropping system is where each cube is guided under a controlled chocolate flow, sometimes called a chocolate curtain. This silky cascade of melted chocolate ensures every cube gets an even coating. Whether you're enjoying them with cheese, spreads, or just on their own, there's something deeply satisfying about those crackers, specifically their crunch and lightness. Some crackers are perforated with tiny holes, which isn't just for decoration, obvious. Those holes, called docking holes, help prevent air bubbles from forming during baking. These cookies are somehow a cultural icon in South Korea and beyond. Known for their wholesome, lightly sweet taste and satisfying crunch, these cookies have become a go-to treat for generations. Speaking of cultural impact, digit cookies have become a staple in lunchboxes and tea times across South Korea. I don't want to put an end to this amazing video so soon, so you watch this luscious chocolate coating scene while we move to the next part of our video.